Yuri?
Yuri is my name. Yörik is the name of the project, my solo project. So
Okay.
you can tell.
Say
You can
Yörik.
say Yuri, just Yuri.
So Yuri is a really cool dude that I've met here at the Alley, the radio, and father. He's a songwriter. He's a really good performer, and he brought his songs, and I felt like this was really interesting to share. We're gonna listen to his songs. We're gonna cut to his songs, and we're gonna talk about them after. Cool, Yuri?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Woke up on a train, hearing water falling from the dam. Rolled the curtains up, looked outside, saw a river running wide. It's nearly been 2 years when I last came here. It felt easier. Still don't know where I belong. Grab my bags, they won't be long. Only visiting. I don't live here anymore. I don't live here anymore. But my heart keeps coming back. I didn't feel this way before. Never felt this way before. And I keep on hitting the same old tracks. By the river, mirror like I just walked and gazed far on the other side. There's a quiet life where the mighty green-brushed mountains lie. And at my mother's place, tears were streaming down her face. She looked older than before. Now it's stay and be of help, fixing cupboard doors. But I don't live here anymore. And I don't live here anymore. I don't live here anymore. But my heart keeps coming back. I didn't feel this way before. Never felt this way before. And I keep on hitting the same old tracks. Oh, there's the quiet life. Oh, there's the quiet life. there's the quiet life.
All right. So you just heard Quiet Life. This is Yörik's project. Tell us a little about your project, your songwriting project.
Well, it's not easy to explain like in a few words because this particular song is the song that was written in 2016, I guess, and it's during my period with the band in Russia. So the band is called On the Go,
Awesome.
and we have like 4 albums, toured all over, and but at some point, well, historically and politically and economically, I decided to move with my family, and we're in UAE right now, and I'm on my own, without my band, without my boys, and I kind of had to restart in some way because I never played by myself my songs. I always had bandmates, and this is my, I don't know, going to more intimate and expressing myself because those are my songs. They were always my ideas, and in the sense of I was talking about my own experience, and I kind of took these songs with me because yeah, and I play piano now and perform the songs from the period with the band, and I also write new songs. I also started writing in my native tongue, in Russian as well. So it's kind of on the go band plus me going abroad and performing by myself, and yeah, that's where the intimacy and this I'm yeah, it's a new chapter for me, and I'm still worried about how it's gonna develop, and but it's still something like a process, and I'm really excited about about the opportunities here. I'm really looking forward to where it's gonna go, and I'm trying to be myself all the time within my music. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a really nice track. I think what I really like about it is that you go from a very low voice, like and you have like a really good low voice to start in your verses, but then you shoot up really beautifully in your choruses. And so there's this nice element where
Yeah.
you are kind of bringing people in your
Hmm.
song, and you're talking about the visuals of the like the train, but then at the same time there's a part of me that thinks that like Yuri is screaming off the top of the mountain saying, you know, I'm not here anymore, it's quiet life. So there's a really beautiful, like it's like two people in this song too, you know, and I find that really interesting.
Yeah, that's actually the lowest I decided to sing at some point. I was listening to a lot of Johnny Cash at this period, and I was very much into folk music at this point, and and I kind of it was kind of for me a process of growing up. When I was 36, or I don't know, I don't remember. Oh, even yeah. Well, I was in my mid 30s when I was starting to think about getting older, growing up. Yeah,
It has that feeling.
and yeah, and looking back, and but I'm still me. I'm still kind of young, and I'm 40 now, but I kind of dress like a teenager still. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, and that's that's a song about, of course, about migrating, about moving from. Well, this particular song is about my hometown, my coming back to my hometown. Uh, I left it a long, long time ago, and I was a Muscovite. I lived in Moscow for 13 years in a row, so it's kind of I kind of missed that. I had part of my family there, and it's very, very biographical, so I'm just telling my story. And this train metaphor, it's not like hitting the same old tracks. It's literally you have to take a train, and you wake up uh, coming close to the city, and you're on a dam, and the water's falling, and the beautiful mountains are there. And I love the nature there. We also, we actually have a video with the band about the place itself, and it's called "In the Wind." If you Google it, "On the Go in the Wind," there's a place which I'm talking about. So
Beautiful.
and this is kind of connection to my roots, where I came from, and this is meaningful for me. That is why I keep coming back to this. Actually, the next song is pretty much close to this same sense of belonging and going back and feel the connection with the place you came from. So
So let's play that right now.
yeah, sure.
People call for snow now, in the streets dressed in black. Say goodbye to hometowns. Gonna wear my love with pride. Clouds cry out loud now as we kneel and take vows, juggling truth and lies. Have we just wrecked our lives? It's not a trial. We only have to try. Go with the tide. It doesn't even matter who's run or ride, and I will try, and I will try. People call for snow now, in the streets dressed in black. Say goodbye to hometowns, giving better love with pride. Clouds cry out loud now as we kneel and take vows, juggling truth and lies. Hey, we just wrecked a lie. Clouds cry out loud now as we kneel and take vows, juggling truth and lies. Yeah, we just wrecked our lives.
Yeah, I really like that song too because it has you play with time in a very interesting way because you're playing it, but I know you're referencing the band track.
Yeah,
I've heard the
sure.
band on YouTube, and I've heard how interesting the rhythm is. To see your version of this, where it's just the piano and your voice, it's really beautiful too. But you're also representing the rhythm in your own way. And so
Yeah.
I want you to tell me a little bit about how November and Quiet Life might be different, but you were also saying that there's parts of it that are the same.
In the meaning, it's close to, well, this song is also inspired. It's inspired by that situation when you leave your small town and your world gets bigger and it's getting faster and lots of things are happening, and you kind of miss that feeling of world being smaller and more comfortable. And this is the idea that haunts me in this case, because like i'm um, I'm not, I don't think that I'm like super brave person, because all this situations when you have to adjust to new places, it stresses you out, and it creates a lot of material to like go around, to think about and get something from it. And it's somehow, I don't know, I accidentally chose those two songs together, but they in some sense represent, it's this coincidence is quite is it's not intentional, but they represent like milestones for me, and that is why I had only 3 songs to choose from. I have like more than an hour of program to play right now on my own, and this song, yeah, if you listen to an original one, it's called November. Uh, there's there are we always love to play with rhythm. So this is basically, this is my brother. He is a very talented musician, and we are self-taught musicians, and we never really got stuck to some formula how we should write, how we should be conventional and understandable and live within some form. So that is why we just had fun, and it's like those memes about a drummer when he's ripping his hair off his
Yeah.
head, trying to play a drum part which was written by a guitar player.
Yes,
So,
I do see that.
so there are some moments like that, but well, if you like analyze what we did writing those songs, but it also, it doesn't feel, and you don't listen to it and think about how complicated and hard
Right.
it is to play. You just get a very new and fresh and feeling of something is uh, something I never heard before. Like these people use rhythm and instruments differently, and it's hooks you. It hooks you, and you want to learn more. I don't know. I am really into bands who experiment first of all, and don't shy away from going to different directions and don't stick to the same formula. I know there are bands who like to just paint the same square all the time until it gets perfect, but it's a bit too boring for me.
Right.
It's not who I am. So,
So with this song, though, even though you said that they're similar, in the first song, I felt that you were like singing with your perspective.
yeah.
But in November, particularly, you are kind of singing in a way where you're talking about others, which I found really interesting. So you stop becoming the person going back to home, and then here you are speaking like a collective of home of people.
Uh huh.
And I
Yeah.
like I enjoyed that you went from that jump, because usually people just are solo, me, or
Okay.
look at the crowd, and it's a nice difference.
Yes, I understand, but there's another reason for that, because when I started writing songs as a songwriter, I was kind of shying away from like putting myself forward. I was doing some abstract things. I was not putting like
You weren't the subject.
the I, yeah, in front of everything. I didn't want to be the center of attention. I wanted to create a feeling, to be just a narrator somehow, and not to involve my personality too much. So I wanted to show myself as well for those songs, but I didn't want to. I wasn't brave enough to step into the spotlight at the moment, and this kind of developed when I got more confident with what I'm doing, and it also, at this time when we began, the band began it in 2007. So the first rehearsals, and we got a breakthrough in 2009 and moved to Moscow, and at that point we kind of were into narration and styles of presenting yourself through in songs that was a bit more abstract. I was not that fascinated with stories like Johnny Cash's stories and some other like Bob Dylan or some other great storytellers. I was using lyrics to kind of comfort the music, kind of
Help out.
enhance
Yeah.
the feeling. I was not trying to like be specific, too specific. So, and it kind of changed through time. And right now, I feel like being more open and being myself and telling like some details, some personal details. It's a normal thing to do, and I'm kind of not shying away from that right now.
Awesome. And so these two songs are in English, but I understand that you performed in Russian.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna check out that track right now.
Yeah. This is one of my latest released songs.
Обещания вспыхнут синим пламенем, как напоминание о чужой весне. Обещания выпалим отчаянно. Страшное признание о чужой весне. Я все проспал, я видел сон украденной весны. Тяжелым черным сапогом раздавленные дни. За днями годы, эхом боли, осколками мечты. Чертили карты в кривь и в кость, оскаленные рты. Обещания, 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 обещания. Вспыхнут синим пламенем, как напоминание о чужой весне. Обещания, окружен, не сражен. Я окружен, но не сражен. Я окружен, но не сражен. Я не забуду о любви назло заклятому врагу. Любовь мой флаг, любовь мой мир, любовь переживет войну. Обещания, 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 обещания. Я окружен, но не сражен. 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 Я окружен, но не сражен.
All right, so you want to go ahead and talk about it, or I think it's like all your work. It's I find it really nice and passionate. So go ahead. I know you want to say something.
Yeah, this is the irony. When I was living in Russia, I wrote songs in English. So I don't know, I felt connected to global musical culture and scene, and it was kind of relatable. People needed that and wanted that as well in Russia, and at that period of time. So, but everything changes, and now I'm not living in Russia, and ironically, I kind of felt the urge to express myself in my native tongue, and I decided, yeah, it's time. I was trying to approach that like couple of years, for a long time. I was developing that story, and I was shying away because Russian language, it's a complex language, but it's also very poetic, and there are different shades of meanings hidden, so many words, so many rules, and in my opinion, it's way more complicated than English. But it was, in my opinion, as well, it was harder to write songs in Russian, and I was not familiar with that. I grew up listening to Western music mostly. Yeah, my father was very into that, and from the very childhood, I was. It was normal for me to listen to rock pop music from U.S. and Britain, Sweden, whatever, and this particular song was the first one I wrote in Russian and released as well. It also, like the single one. I have more songs that I perform, but I haven't released them yet. I plan to. And right now, I use that part of my artistic identity as a connection with my culture, with my roots, with my past, with people who will understand me. But I actually performed this song not long ago here in Abu Dhabi at Berkeley open mic, and I received very. I There was a choice which song I would choose to perform, and I decided to go with a song in Russian, and I still received very specific and vivid impressions because that's what makes music great. One of the greatest forms of art. It's it's way more universal than just a language, for example, and just the meaning. And I understand that people who know English and listen to songs in English, they still manage to interpret the the meaning in their different perspective and in their different way. But no matter how you perceive it, there is other neuroscience to that when you just uh, you make an impact and you touch um, certain patterns in a human being through music. So this is for me like a path to myself. I kind of had a barrier. Uh, a, it was a problem for me to start writing and performing in my own tongue. And when this barrier fell, I really felt even more complete artistically. So it's
That's
a great
amazing.
thing. Yeah.
That's really amazing that you felt completed. One of the things I would love to add, because I've been listening to your work these days, is when you sing in English, I can see some of this, like you said, Western, but even more Midwestern Americana energy. In your verses, I hear a lot of Johnny Cash. I hear also, like you said, Midwestern influences. But in your choruses in English, I hear also more indie bands, indie rock, electro elements.
Yeah.
When I hear you in Russian, which I do not know Russian,
Yeah.
amazing that in some of the way you sing, you are using almost like a modern pop Russian melody. And so
Yeah.
there's a really beautiful idea of how you kind of pick these things in these different cultures and then you've made them you. This is you, which is
Yeah.
really interesting because even when you speak English, there's an element of your accent being Midwestern to Western,
Yeah.
right? Um, I find that really fascinating, and if you're a listener, I would like you to rewind and to listen to these songs because there are parts in Russian that is more pop radio melodies and not indie rock or not super rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I find that really, really cool.
Well, I never challenge myself to stick to one genre and create boundaries. It's not who I am because I love very very different music from classical to pop music and in different languages as well in different cultures and backgrounds, and that is why I don't see myself as an artist who is going to stick to one method because yeah, as I've mentioned, for me it would be boring and it wouldn't give you the opportunity to know yourself better, to discover what music can be about, because I like to learn about musicians as well, and it doesn't bother me if this is experimental thing or like Taylor Swift. I don't know. I try to find something interesting for me. Um, so that's why it's natural for me not to be easily identified with one genre or direction in music. Well, basically, On the Go, my band was considered to be indie pop, indie rock project. So that's that's what was at the time like a specific and understandable. We were independent, so we didn't have a producer. We didn't have someone who told us to sing in falsetto and don't sing in this and use that melody. No, we never did have this experience, and we decided not to limit ourselves. So the approach is independent. So yeah, those indie choruses are also natural.
Are part of that world.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I guess we're coming up to the wrap. We're closing up. And what I want to say is, what do you think is, an element of Yörik project, the solo project, since, Miza Radio is a community, what do you feel like you want to see in the future, whether it's for you or for other artists? Or what are you looking into in the future of Yörik? And I know maybe this is a very deep question, but I want to keep it open-ended for you to kind of express yourself.
Yeah.
But I also want you to kind of also, the reason I'm saying is because I want you to also feel like Miza Radio and the world can collaborate with you.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What is the future?
Well, I kind of miss that collaborative experience and a community. So I'm on my own right now, and I'm struggling sometimes, and it's tough. And yes, the next step would be keeping the process, like the basics, writing, performing, practicing, but also growing in the sense of working with musicians live, extending to a band probably in the future. So I tend to be in a collective. Of course, I could be a leader of it, or I could share the responsibility of leadership, and I could invite someone in the process as well. So I try to stay open, but I long for a connection, not only with the audience, but also with other musicians, collaborative acts, artists of different, yeah.
So basically, in a way, you'd be kind of rebuilding a different version of a Yörik band.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Well, in a way,
Or it doesn't have to be the same. It could be something else, but that this is new waters,
yeah,
and building a band with different colors and different aesthetics in a different country. I find that it's pretty adventurous, and
Yeah.
and to be honest, I hope the best of luck to you. On YouTube, you
Thanks.
can find Yörik's work. On Instagram, he's a super cool dude. Reach out to him, talk to him about songwriting, talk to him about whatever. He has a life full of experiences. These days, I've been talking to him in the car, and the conversations have been great. So please
Thank
reach
you.
out to him and to the future. Thank you very much, Yörik, for coming.
I enjoyed our conversations as well. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed playing for Miza. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen in the alley in the future. So the season starts. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me once again. And yeah, it was
Awesome.
great.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.